In homes around the world today, cats move like quiet sovereigns. They claim the sunniest windowsill, thread between our legs with casual ownership, and fix us with eyes that seem to carry the weight of centuries. We buy them beds they ignore, toys they abandon, and premium food as if they were tiny royalty. Their images flood our screens, their presence comforts us in ways we rarely articulate. Yet behind this familiar companionship lies a forgotten epic, one that began not with pampered pets, but with survival, reverence, and the slow forging of a bond that would shape human imagination for millennia. The story opens in the transformative dawn of agriculture. 10,000 years ago, the world stood on the cusp of a revolution. In the Fertile Crescent, small bands of people who had long followed migrating herds and gathered wild plants began to linger in one place. They planted seeds, they harvested grain, they built storage pits and granaries to protect their bounty through dry seasons. This new way of life promised stability, but it introduced a hidden enemy: rodents. Mice and rats swarmed to the stored wealth, devouring food supplies and spreading illness in tight-knit settlements. Picture a small village at dusk. The air carries the scent of harvested barley. A family inspects their grain stores by firelight, discovering tiny teeth marks and scattered husks. Their survival through the coming months is suddenly uncertain. Into this tension slips a shadow, lithe, golden-eyed, and utterly focused. The wildcat, Felis sylvestris libica, drawn not by affection for humans but by abundant prey, begins to hunt at the edges of human life. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of this early, tentative partnership. The most striking comes from the island of Cyprus around 9,500 years ago. At the Neolithic site of Shilarokambos, excavators found a human grave containing the remains of an 8-month-old cat carefully buried alongside its owner, along with offerings of flint tools and seashells. Cats were not native to Cyprus. Someone had deliberately transported the animal by boat, a remarkable effort that suggests emotional attachment beyond mere utility. This burial stands as one of the earliest signs of a deepening relationship. Scholars debate the exact pace and motivation of domestication. Some emphasize the practical advantages. Cats provided natural pest control without demanding the training or resources required by dogs. Others point to a gradual commensal process, cats and humans co-evolving in shared spaces. Whatever the precise mechanism, the relationship solved a critical problem. By keeping rodents in check, cats helped safeguard the very foundation of settled life: reliable food. In return, they gained protection from larger predators and occasional access to human scraps. Over generations, individuals more tolerant of human presence thrived. The cat's size decreased slightly, and its social flexibility increased. What began as opportunistic hunting slowly became something closer to companionship. This partnership traveled with early farmers. Evidence from China around 5,300 years ago at the village of Quanhukin reveals cats living near millet farming communities, their bones showing diets influenced by human food sources and rodent prey. Isotopic analysis confirms they were consuming village resources while providing valuable service. These discoveries paint a picture of parallel developments across regions, but it was along the Nile that the relationship reached its most profound expression. By the time ancient Egyptian civilization flourished, cats were already integrated into daily existence. Egypt's annual inundation created astonishing agricultural wealth, but storing that surplus invited constant threat. In humble homes of mud brick and thatch, families relied on cats to protect precious grain jars from marauding rodents and venomous snakes that slithered near the river. Tomb paintings capture these animals in vivid action: a sleek cat retrieving birds for its owner during a marsh hunt, or perched attentively beneath a chair in a domestic scene, tail curled in contentment. Ordinary Egyptians valued them as working partners who required no commands and asked for little beyond respect. Yet utility alone does not explain the reverence that followed. Egyptian religion saw the sacred reflected in the everyday. Animals embodied divine principles. The cat's combination of fierce independence, maternal tenderness, nocturnal vision, and lightning grace made it a perfect vessel for spiritual forces. Early in the First Dynasty, the goddess Mafdet appeared as a feline protector of the pharaoh's chambers against snakes, scorpions, and evil spirits. She represented justice and swift punishment. Over time, another figure rose to prominence: Bastet. Initially depicted as a lioness, daughter of the sun god Ra, and closely linked to the powerful Sekhmet, Bastet gradually transformed in iconography to a woman with the head of a domestic cat. This shift mirrored the domestication process itself. Bastet became the goddess of home, fertility, childbirth, joy, music, and protection. She safeguarded families and embodied the gentle yet formidable qualities Egyptians observed in their cats. Temples dedicated to her, especially the grand sanctuary at Bubastis, became centers of pilgrimage. Priests tended living cats within sacred precincts. These animals were seen as manifestations of the goddess, living links between the human and divine realms. Imagine the scene at Bubastis during a festival. The air fills with the sound of sistrums and joyous music. Pilgrims arrive by boat along the sacred waterways. Within the temple complex, hundreds of cats roam freely, fed, groomed, and honored. When a household cat died, families mourned profoundly, often shaving their eyebrows as a sign of grief. The body would be carefully mummified, wrapped in linen, sometimes adorned with jewelry, or placed in carved wooden coffins shaped like cats. Vast cat cemeteries attest to the scale. Tens or even hundreds of thousands of mummified felines have been discovered, many deliberately bred in temple catteries as votive offerings. Killing a cat, even unintentionally, could result in harsh penalties, sometimes death, reflecting deep cultural taboo. This reverence changed daily life in tangible ways. For a farmer's wife, a cat meant safer grain for bread and beer, fewer deadly bites for her children, and a sense of divine protection over the household. For artisans and scribes, cats offered companionship during long hours of labor. For the elite, they symbolized status and closeness to the gods. Pharaohs associated themselves with feline power, and cats appear in royal contexts as guardians. The animal bridged social classes present in modest homes and grand palaces alike, creating a shared cultural experience that reinforced community identity. As Egyptian power expanded through trade and empire, cats traveled with it. Phoenician sailors, Greek merchants, and later Roman legions carried these efficient hunters and their aura of divinity across the Mediterranean. By classical antiquity, domestic cats had reached much of Europe. While the intense religious worship remained uniquely Egyptian, the practical appreciation endured. Some scholars suggest that without the Egyptian elevation of the cat, its spread might have been slower or more limited. Alternative theories propose multiple centers of domestication, but the archaeological and genetic evidence consistently points to the Near Eastern wildcat as the primary ancestor, with Egypt playing a pivotal role in cultural amplification. The story did not end with the decline of pharaonic Egypt. In medieval Europe, cats faced periods of suspicion, linked to pagan traditions or witchcraft, yet their value as mousers in barns and ships ensured survival. On sailing vessels, they protected precious food stores during long voyages, aiding exploration and trade. Their ancient reputation for grace and mystery persisted in folklore. Through all these shifts, the core qualities that first drew humans, independence, efficiency, quiet dignity, allowed cats to adapt alongside us. Today, when you watch a cat navigate your modern apartment with the same effortless authority its ancestors showed in Nile villages, you are stepping into a relationship forged in the crucible of civilization's birth. The granaries of the Fertile Crescent have crumbled to dust, but the instinct to secure what sustains us remains. The temples of Bubastis lie in ruins, yet something of Bastet's protective spirit echoes every time a cat curls protectively near a sleeping child or stands sentinel at a window. The next time you feel that soft weight settle on your lap, or hear a contented purr break the quiet of your home, pause. You're not merely sharing space with a pet. You are participating in one of humanity's oldest interspecies friendships, a partnership born of necessity, deepened by wonder, and sustained by mutual respect across 10,000 years. In the cat's unblinking gaze lies the memory of ancient fields, sacred temples, and the enduring human desire to find the divine in the everyday. In that small, independent creature, we glimpse something profound, our own long journey from survival to meaning, and the quiet companions who walked beside us every step of the way.